Welcome back to WikiLert.
Today, we're tackling a shocking development in the Israel-Hamas conflict, Israel's unprecedented strike on senior Hamas leaders in the Qatari capital of Doha on September 9, 2025. If you've been following the news, you know this airstrike marks a bold escalation, targeting the heart of a key mediator in the Gaza war and drawing fierce international backlash. Explosions rocked Doha, and while Israel claims it was a precise operation against Hamas top brass, Qatar and global leaders are calling it a violation of sovereignty that could derail fragile peace talks. So, grab a moment, get comfy, and let's break it all down like we're sitting together piecing through the headlines, covering what happened, who was targeted, the reactions from all sides, and what this means for the region's already tense dynamics. Let's get into it. Picture this. It's Tuesday, September 9th, 2025, and the sun is rising over Doha, Qatar's gleaming capital, a city known for its towering skyscrapers, luxury hotels, and role as a diplomatic hub in the Middle East. Qatar has long been a safe haven for Hamas political leadership, hosting their headquarters since 2012 and serving as a crucial mediator in ceasefire negotiations between Israel and the Palestinian militant group. Senior Hamas officials, including negotiators, have called Doha home, meeting there to discuss everything from hostage releases to potential truces. But in a move that stunned the world, Israel launched a targeted airstrike on residential buildings in the city, specifically aiming at a complex housing Hamas political bureau. Multiple explosions were heard around 8 a.m. local time, sending plumes of smoke rising over the skyline in the Qatari area, north of the city center. Eyewitnesses described chaos, sirens blaring, people rushing to safety, and Qatar Airways planes still landing amid the panic. The U.S. Embassy in Doha immediately issued a shelter-in-place order for American citizens, urging them to monitor updates as Qatari Air Force jets took off on patrol. Israel didn't waste time claiming responsibility. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, and the Shin Bet Security Agency issued a joint statement shortly after, confirming they had conducted a precise strike targeting the senior leadership of the Hamas terrorist organization. They described it as an operation using precise munitions and additional intelligence to mitigate civilian harm, but didn't specify the exact location at first. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office followed up, emphasizing that today's action against the top terrorist chieftains of Hamas was a wholly independent Israeli operation. Israel initiated it, Israel conducted it, and Israel takes full responsibility. Netanyahu tied the strike to Hamas' role in the October 7, 2023, massacre that killed 1,200 Israelis and sparked the ongoing Gaza war, saying the targeted leaders were directly responsible for the brutal October 7th massacre and have been orchestrating and managing the war against the State of Israel. Reports from Israeli media named the operation Summit of Fire, suggesting it was planned after Hamas conducted an attack in Jerusalem on September 8th, killing 6 Israelis, prompting Netanyahu to greenlight the hit. Who were the targets? A senior Israeli official revealed to media outlets that the strike focused on Hamas chief negotiator Khalil Al-Hayya, a key figure in Doha-based talks, along with Zaher Jabrin, another high-ranking member. Al-Hayya, who recently met with Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani on September 8 to discuss a U.S. proposal for a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release, was reportedly in a meeting when the bombs fell. Some sources even said the entire Hamas A-list was gathered in the building, discussing President Trump's latest ceasefire initiative, which Hamas had called a humiliating surrender document, but promised to review. Conflicting reports emerged on casualties. Arab media like Al Jazeera cited Qatari sources saying several senior officials were killed, while Israeli outlets claimed the strike was successful in eliminating key figures without specifying numbers. Qatar's foreign ministry confirmed the attack hit residential buildings housing several members of the political bureau of Hamas, but didn't detail deaths, focusing instead on the violation. Qatar's response was swift and furious. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Majid Al-Ansari blasted the cowardly Israeli attack on X, calling it a blatant violation of all international laws and norms and a serious threat to the security and safety of Qataris and residents in Qatar. Qatar, a U.S. ally that's hosted Hamas' political wing for years and mediated multiple rounds of talks, including the January 2025 ceasefire and hostage exchange after 15 months of war, suspended its mediation role until further notice, citing a lack of good faith from both sides. Emirati Foreign Minister Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan expressed full solidarity with our dear Qatar, while the United Arab Emirates warned that such actions threaten the Abraham Accords, the 2020 normalization deal between Abu Dhabi and Israel. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres condemned the strikes as a flagrant violation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Qatar, praising Doha's very positive role in ceasefire efforts. Even the U.S., while notified beforehand according to officials, issued a cautious statement through the embassy in Doha, confirming the shelter-in-place order but avoiding direct criticism. The strike's timing couldn't be more loaded. It came amid stalled Gaza talks, with Hamas rejecting Trump's proposal as insufficient and Israel issuing evacuation orders for Gaza City, warning of an impending assault on what they call Hamas' last strongholds. The war, now nearly 2 years old, has killed over 41,000 Palestinians, according to Gaza health officials, and displaced millions, while Israel vows to eradicate Hamas after the October 7th attack. Qatar's role as a mediator, hosting Israeli negotiators like Mossad chief David Barnea and maintaining channels with Washington, made Doha a safe space, so striking there is a massive escalation. Similar to Israel's 2024 assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. Analysts like Marwan Bishara called it a disgusting, mafia-type action that disrupts diplomacy, while Sultan Barakat, a professor in Doha, said it entrenches Israel's image as an international pariah. The U.S. pushed for a deal, including Trump's ultimatum to Hamas to accept or pay the consequences, now hangs in the balance, with Qatar's suspension potentially stalling hostage releases and ceasefires. This event has ripple effects across the region. Qatar, a gas-rich Gulf state that's balanced ties with the U.S., Israel, and Hamas, now faces a security crisis. Its interior ministry confirmed the blasts targeted Hamas residences, and one Air Force jet patrolled the skies. The UAE's solidarity hints at fraying Abraham Accords, with Abu Dhabi already warning against West Bank annexation. In Gaza, the strike coincided with renewed Israeli orders for residents to evacuate, heightening fears of a massive offensive. Global reactions are pouring in. Arab leaders like Anwar Gargash condemned it as aggression, while Israeli officials like Defense Minister Israel Katz defended it as necessary to dismantle Hamas. Social media is exploding, with X posts like "Israel bombing Qatar? This war's gone too far" trending alongside calls for de-escalation. Reddit threads are debating the legality, one user saying, "Targeting mediators in Doha? That's a low blow to peace talks." At its core, this strike underscores the Gaza war's expansion from Gaza and Lebanon to now the Gulf, threatening to pull in more players and derail US-led diplomacy. Israel's vow to strike them all the time, shows no end in sight, while Qatar's fury could isolate Jerusalem further. For now, the world watches as Doha licks its wounds and talks stall. What happens next could reshape the Middle East. What do you think? Did this strike kill peace hopes, or was it justified? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like if this story got you thinking, and subscribe for more global breakdowns. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for rocking with me. Let's keep the conversation going, fam.